Hello, hello. Testing. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. Hi, welcome. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm so excited to see so many new faces here, which means a lot. This is the 2025 Iredell Arts Council's first spoken word of the year, and what a year it's been already. I'm so excited about tonight. This is one of my favorite things that we do because I feel like it's one of those events that we really get to connect with each other, and really recognize that we have so much in common more than we have differences. So I am not your host this evening. Actually, we have a wonderfully talented, wise, beautiful host this evening, and her name is Infinite Sunshine, and she's going to get us started.
Good evening, old jailhouse. I am the hostess with the mostest. I also go by the friend that goes the ghostess, but Sydney Koppelmeyer, she must have searched very high and low to have found me because she found me on a Facebook page that I haven't used in I don't know how long. So I guess this was meant to be. Thanks, Sid. In the words of Music Soul Child, love. There's so many things I have got to tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know how. Because there's a possibility that you'd look at me differently. Love. Round of applause if you've ever had something to say, but you were afraid of how or who to. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of honesty. Being able to admit that there's more to your story. The world of artistry is a world of alignment. It's understanding the assignment and who assigned it. We're gathered here tonight to be reminded of the gift of love, many of which would say comes from above. But I've learned that it comes from within. So, without further ado, let me, introduce you to some of my friends who each have an intrinsically unique way of sharing their love for the arts and how their experience with love has shaped and molded their hearts. First to the stage tonight, a good guy that I enjoy watching here. I posted one of his poems on my page as an advertisement for tonight, and if you've gotten to watch it, you know he is very real and he keeps it very raw. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Fox.
Oh, hey, whoa, this is right where I needed to be. Cool. Because normally I'm vertically challenged, and that's always a joke. So I don't know. I had no idea what I was going to read tonight, to be honest with you. So I just cherry picked a couple things. But I did know that I wanted this to be more love centered because it's February and Valentine's Day and all of the rich history of expressing love in many different forms. So I'm going to read a couple of different variety of love poems tonight, not just like sentimental or romantic love. So I'm going to read a couple short ones, and then I'll probably do a little more spoken word towards the end of my set. So this is titled "And Love," or ampersand love. Grammatically correct. The perfect shade of blue is the soft darkness underneath your cold fingernail. You hold your hand out to me in the dimming light of October, expecting me to take it. And when I decide to slip mine into yours against the backdrop of gold and crimson, fallen every which way across the earth, that was a decision made to be remade over a lifetime. And the perfect shade of certainty was the way the sky looked at dusk, a congealed tangle of blood, bone, and bruise I was willing to become for you. Human sky, homonym cloud, a lifetime of looking up and remembering. So a lot of you may have seen some of my poems or read some of my poems. I do a lot of religious motifs and or imagery in my poems. And this is one that I forgot I'd even written. So I was literally looked through my OneDrive and typed in the word love in the search bar, and took 4 minutes for it to pop everything up. So I guess I'm a love poet. That's my way of figuring that out. So this one's titled Love Beyond a Reasonable Religion. The myriad reasons for my damnation cannot outweigh the softness of your kiss. I am a failed believer in God, but I hear Christ's mother in your laughter. There are many ways to survive a rapture, I'm certain, but when it comes to your love, I know I could die within the breadth of it and still be remembered. Dear jasmine-scented lover, dear skinny-boned temple, dear first and only pomegranate, I don't know much about how to be crucified upside down for someone I love. But for you, I'm pretty certain I can become a quick learner. I'll read one more short one. This is just titled Love. Love isn't anything more than a horizon between what you were and what you wanted to become, no more, no less. The starling's murmuration resembles a blur of incohesive bruises. The sunrise is a hematoma below the sky's kneecap, the moon. And below us, trying to find the right words. So this is a poem I wrote. It's kind of borders on spoken word a little bit. It's very casually written. It was written for my best friend, Adam, who I don't know if he'll be here tonight. I wanted him to be here just to shout out to Adam, this poem is for you. Just to make him kind of red in the face. But this title is a really long title, but I thought it was appropriate. It's titled, There's a Lot More to Adulting Than Growing Up, My Dude. And I want to tell him that. My best friend, who was 3 years younger but dating women 10 years older than himself. I want to say something like being in an unreciprocal relationship is like being a buoy on the shore, or something along the lines of the only person in this world that can make you truly understand happiness is the person you see every morning in the mirror, no matter how bedraggled. But we can't say that because we're dudes, which I think is fucking stupid. There are boundaries invisible across every space in our lives, borders that prohibit us from speaking or acting in various irregularities. I used to think that it was obscene and prolifically appalling, but now in my 30s, I see it as a necessary evil. We can't unmask the monsters ourselves. They must do it for us. Now he sits next to me and we stuff tacos into our mouths, and he asks me what he did wrong. Why doesn't she love me? And for the first time in a long time, I think of how not breathing is a lot like choking on darkness, or how not speaking when asked is a lot like forfeiting existence. So I tell him, you tried too hard to earn something unearnable. It is hard to love someone who won't let you. And part of growing up is learning when to let certain people leave. My dude looks at me like I just materialized a halo above my head. He looks at me as though my third eye has just opened up on my face. He looks at me as though for the first time realizing what I am to him. The world blurs. Nameless people on the street lose their faces. He standing and I sitting take drags on Marlboros that will slowly kill us. Why anyone would want to love under particular conditions is beyond me. But I will anyway. Because love isn't something without perimeters, but its sky goes all the way up and beyond. We all reach for the stars, even though we know we'll never hold one. Some with less effort, others with more, but regardless, it's the trying. The hardest trial we will ever face is growing into ourselves, inevitably blooming, yes, blooming, into universe made flesh. And this last poem is also a platonic love poem, so it's a love poem for friends. And this was written at the very early hours of 3 a.m. this morning when I couldn't sleep. And I was like, well, there's more than just one kind of love. There's love for your friends. And it's hard sometimes to be empathetic and patient, like a garden gate held ajar, heavy and awkward, but pushed back by the breath the world let you in. I try my hardest to do one thing in life, and that thing is to be the best friend that anyone could ever need. Notice I didn't say want. One time, my friend Matt and I had an argument about angels for like 45 minutes. And at the end of it, we were mad at each other, but started laughing because we both realized the likelihood of seeing an angel is the same as getting struck by a small meteorite and living to talk about it. This one time, my best friend in high school, one time at band camp, asked me if I wanted to go to the YMCA with him and work out. I didn't know what that meant until years later, and we laughed about it while he stood in a tuxedo next to me and my wife on our wedding day. This one time, my friend told me that when he says, "Get the fuck out of here," it's a term of endearment and an expression of disbelief. But I've never been up north, and I don't know this, and so when I do say it, it normally has the equivalent of a southern "bless your heart," but softer, because I don't want you to mistake my amazement that you're here for a slight. I have so much amazement that I'm here at all. And if I'm being honest, I fall in love too often with my friends. It's kind of a pitfall of who I am. I don't know why it happens. I just know that it happens whenever Matt plays his guitar, or Tiffany does that thing with her glasses and nose when she laughs or acts pretend mean like a stereotypical Scorpio. Or when Adam smokes a cigarette and starts talking and forgets to smoke it, so it goes out, and he's got to fumble around for his lighter again. Or when Andy gets the giggle fits whenever we play Nintendo 64 20 years after it's obsolete. Or when Kyo dyes her hair again for the 10th time this year and their hair becomes unicorn algae sherbet fluff. Or when Janice does that thing with the back of her paintbrush, nibbling on it until she forgets what she was saying. Or when Juan waxes sarcastic and pretends that he knows exactly how I'm cheating in Mario Kart and proceeds to ask me why he's laughing so hard, and I have to tell him the gummies we ate were a little too strong. Or when Trey sees me, every time without fail, hugs me until he feels less sad at the past and cries because he's missed me, even though he's no longer homeless. And I think of all my friends, and then I think of the world, and how horrible it would be to not understand that Earth is kind of like a chapel, and we are all there watching the world get married to our greatest dream. And they hold hands and eventually become one great couple, and I realized this could be us, humanity, in love with the world without judgment, without fear, and without any hesitation to ask one another, what can I do to help you hold that weight, friend? Thank you, guys. That's my time.
One more time for Sam Fox. Awesome sauce. I tell you, he will make you think about life. Now, this next poet, I did not get the chance to meet prior to us starting. Oh, hi. See, and I was just sitting next to him. Ted Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen. And he's wearing my favorite color. Did you just get here? Okay, beautiful. Have a good time.
Well, let's see. I just moved to the neighborhood, so y'all will be seeing a lot more of me. And As of December, I am 15 years alcohol-free. So I still smoke pot though. So don't get nervous. All of this is going to be new stuff, and keeping with the love theme, I don't typically write love poems, but one thing that I really love is music, and I wrote this entire 250-odd page book of poems about the records in my collection, basically. Some are like reviews, some of them I tried to just capture how the music made me feel, so I'll be reading from that, and then another newer poem. This is called Preaching Through the Glass, and it's for Carly Hartzman of the band Wednesday, who are from Asheville. Melting country and shoegaze, guitars cascade over a sea of pedal steel as vocals swoon and sigh, or else shout through the musical fog like Civil War ghosts calling out in the cemetery dark. The ghosts of electricity howled in the bones of her face on 82 years of Bob Dylan. Surrealist poet working on the medium of song with typewriter screeds and stony stream of consciousness, lighting the way down New York back alleys and lonely Midwest avenues, breathing air and tasting rain, you were building bridges through the stars. I know these are pretty quick, so it's kind of hard to figure out where to clap, so it's all right, though. This one's just for sillies, basically. This is called Teenage Feelings, and it is in defense of my love for power pop music. There's a certain magic in a well-crafted tune, how a melody can transport you back in time to some distant bank of memory. And people often ask me how it is that I can listen to both extreme noise music, avant-garde jazz, and power pop. I always say, hey man. I'm funny. And let's see, where was I? All caps. This is a little different. This is aimed at any hip-hop heads we got in the audience. This is all caps for MF Doom, who we lost a couple of years ago. Bent verses over warped jazz loops, metal-faced microphone phantom moves with the logic of the shadows. And this one is very new. I'm actually so new that I'm doing something that I haven't gotten on the reading from a smartphone train. So we're going to do that, and if anybody is writing for the papers, the blogs or stuff, you can rush off now. I have to announce with this poem that I am non-binary. I've always been queer, and I just wanted to get that out there. And thank you so much for building a place where I can say that and feel. My therapist is going to be so happy. This is inspired by something that my friend Jamie was telling me recently. I was telling her, I was like, I know that what I do is good. I know that I've got talent and I've got something to say, but I always struggle to sell myself, like the whole marketing side of it. And she told me that something someone had told her was to think of a celebrity that you admire who seems to make it look really natural and just sort of try to channel that. So my person is Michael Stipe from REM. So this is an open letter to Michael Stipe for being the first queer icon that kind of opened that door, I guess. Open letter to Michael Stipe. You on a magazine cover wearing eyeliner meant more to me at 13 years old than gold. Secretly queer in the South, I wouldn't come out until I was almost 40. And queer artists are always spoken a language I could understand. I'm forever questioning everything, both cosmic and personal, forever hedging on the gender question. Feeling safe in makeup, more myself with longer hair, and I've never really ascribed to a male point of view, nor a view of myself. And hey, I look good in a dress. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Go you. Go you guys. You all look great tonight. I've crossed paths with a couple of you, and we've been able to share compliments. But I've been inspired as we've been talking about different types of love and different levels of love and different things and ways to love. I realized I too kind of have a cheesy poem about love. And if you would give me a moment, I want to share it with you, okay? It's called Old Houses. I love old houses because they're made of wood. The way they sing to me makes me feel so good. I can feel the soul in every plank and molding, the stories that they're holding, the history, the mystery, standing tall, strong, and bold. Old house, will you open your mouth? Tell me what you know. As I seek to find, please show me what I need to learn and grow. Thank you. And with growing in mind, our next poet has grown from just coming to experience and witness the atmosphere and vibe to actually presenting herself. So without further ado, Miss Sally.
So, my name's Sally Haynes. I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'm a local mental health counselor, substance abuse counselor, so there you go. I'm also a recovering alcoholic too. Next month will be 31 years, so I've never done this before, and I've been writing poems since I was 17 years old, but mostly it was cathartic. And so I have to give y'all a warning that my poems are very kind of depressing, so sad, and but that's who I am sometimes. So the first one I wrote because 25 years I've been a counselor. I worked in substance abuse treatment, and being a recovering person, I wrote about addiction. And so I don't have a title for it. I realize there's no title. But anyway, I know true spoken word, you have it memorized and you don't use a paper, so forgive me for being cheesy. But anyway, so can y'all hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. So here it goes. So many souls in this space of time, all that's real is the pain. Some of it was part of my life too. Some of it spared me. People who suffer so, many don't even know. It's so much who they are, they can't see another side. In their sorrow, they crush their spirits and those of them who are near, adding piles and piles of hurt. Their pain is a fatal caress, a groove that is repeated. Any attempt to escape fails, for they can't find the hidden door. It began long ago when their eyes were opening for the first time, and it hurt too much to see. All they wanted was to know it was safe to be themselves. People with pain of their own left them alone and afraid. They still hide, staying safe behind faces who never were told it's okay to be you. You can just be. To hurt, to cry, to be afraid, to say it wasn't all right what was done or not done when they had to count on someone. Now they have larger bodies but are still the sad little kids. Deep inside, their suffering lingers and fills the spaces. Attempts to find the love lost end up in more pain, or they are too afraid to risk and then hurt others first. Reaching to the outside for an answer, anything to make it go away, just make it numb, don't feel. The solution adds to the pain, and it spins and spirals down. They think it's the only way, settling into the misery. Someday, if they have hope, real love will light their way, to offer a place where they don't have to hide. It will create a space for them where it's safe to come out, to start the journey home, back to who they were created to be. The love may come to them in a different shape or sound, a person, a song, a book, or a whisper to the soul. The message may change, but the love will never leave. Maybe they can open their souls for a glimpse, just enough to see. You see, there is an answer, a way to leave it where it belongs, with the people who are the ones who own the shame, not them. A step from the caves that entrap them into the fresh air and freedom, a place they have heard about, but it seemed like a storybook. Maybe they can come out, let it happen. There is a place of peace, finding comfort in the skin they were born in. So much to explore, free to be a part of all of us, a path lit with love, safe, secure, to be as they are. All they have endured will show itself again in a mirror of another's actions, to remember where they came from. A chance to see clearly the pain and how it wants to destroy. A window of time to show the light to someone else, to offer a soft place to land, reach out into their hurt, pull them through, don't let go, as others have. A twig to grasp, a ray of hope, love in its most selfless form. Try to see past their rage and attempts to push it away. It's harder to find now, but brilliant when it's revealed. A change, a light, a new way. Love, the only hope. And so, addiction and mental health gallop through my family. It doesn't run, it gallops in my family. And so I have 4 sisters. We all had a baby in 1981. So I have a 43-year-old son. And but my sisters and I are real close, and we raised each other's kids. So one of my sister's sons struggled a lot, and he had addiction, and he went to prison and for 8.5 years. And when he came out, he was confident that he was going to be able to get his life together. And he ended up committing suicide right in front of my sister. He shot himself. So she was, of course, totally changed her life. But so at his funeral, I read this poem. And he was like my child, because I raised him too. So it's about almost 10 years ago. It still hurts. So it's called Just Another Story About Going Too Far. Like I told you, it's pretty depressing. This tale, true as it is, began with a boy and ended with a man. A journey, a lifetime with all its joy and pain. The child was born, one of 4, in the year of 1981. His name was Jason Daniel, JD for short. Lovingly named Uncle Fester. His hair took many months to grow. He never walked but ran on the tips of his toes. With the biggest brown eyes and ironside cheeks, you couldn't help but smile when he came in the room. Baseball and fishing were what he loved best. Music and laughter comes in next. The smarts of his mom, the charm of his dad. The future was open with the gifts that he had. But in his soul, suffering lingered. Secrets and pain he couldn't seem to handle. Pride held him back from asking for help, and a strong will that wanted to manage it himself. You see, he had a monkey on his back, the same as his dad's. One that would soon end in tragedy, as most stories have. His choices led to pain and loss. We all cried when the judge said 10. His only request was to take care of my mom, and his family did the time with him. He and his mom grew so close, phone calls and conversations they may not have had, for his time revealed a gift, time to think, clear his mind about what's true. He returned home after 8.5 years, strong and clean with a desire to do well. For many months he did his best, for he didn't know that Monkey was stronger than he. The lure of the streets began pulling him away. The excitement, the Dr. Feelgood, helped to ease his pain. He hid it so well, the secret of his relapse. Shame, feeding his pain and guilt, trying hard to keep it together, but one was too many and 1,000 wasn't enough. The love of his family and friends and their attempts to help were no match for the pain held inside or the disease that was taking hold. At the end of his rope, with guilt and pain mounting, his back against the wall, it all became overwhelming and he ended it all. He has left us now, released from his guilt and shame, his loved ones holding on to the good times while trying to cope with their pain. The moral of the story is really quite plain: a loving spirit and a beautiful soul, destroyed and in pain, a life not lived in vain. He saw no way out, but there was one indeed, his legacy an important lesson for you and for me. That's it. So, through my process of recovery, I started in AA and the 12 steps. I'm not supposed to publicly identify as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, because if I screw up, it'll make AA look bad. But I found a power greater than myself in the 12 steps. And so this is not a poem I wrote, but it's one that I live by. And it kind of speaks to the difference between religion and spirituality. And it was written by a man named Sam Shoemaker, and he was a Episcopal priest in New York, and he helped consult with the people that created Alcoholics Anonymous. And anyway, he died in 1963. But I just think it's beautiful. So it's called I Stand by the Door. And so it's, I stand by the door. I neither go too far in nor stay too far out. The door is the most important door in the world. It is the door through which men walk when they find God. There is no use my going way inside and staying there when so many are still outside, and they, as much as I, crave to know where the door is. So, and all that so many ever find is only the wall where the door ought to be. They creep along the wall like blind men with outstretched, groping hands, feeling for a door, knowing there must be a door, yet they never find it. So I stand by the door. The most tremendous thing in the world is for men to find that door, the door to God. The most important thing any man can do is to take hold of one of those blind, groping hands and put it on the latch that only clicks and opens to the man's own touch. Men die outside the door as starving beggars die, on cold nights in cruel cities in the dead of winter, die for want of what is within their grasp. They live on the other side of it, live because they have not found it. Nothing else matters compared to helping them find it and open it and walk in and find him. So I stand by the door. Go in, great saints. Go all the way in. Go way down into the cavernous cellars and way up into the spacious attics. It is a vast, roomy house, this house where God is. Go into the deepest of hidden casements of withdrawal, of silence, of sainthood. Some must inhabit those inner rooms and know the depths and heights of God and call outside to the rest of us how wonderful it is. Sometimes I take a deeper look in, sometimes venture a little farther in, but my place seems closer to the opening, so I stand by the door. There's another reason why I stand there. Some people get partway in and become afraid, lest God and the zeal of his house devour them. For God is so very great and asks all of us. And these people feel a cosmic claustrophobia and want to get out. Let me out, they cry. And the people way inside only terrify them even more. Somebody must be by the door to tell them that they are spoiled for the old life. They have seen too much. One taste of God and nothing but God will do anymore. Somebody must be watching for the frightened who seek to sneak out just where they came in, to tell them how much better it is inside. The people too far in do not see how near these are to leaving, preoccupied with the wonder of it all. Somebody must watch for those who have entered the door, but would like to run away. So for them too, I stand by the door. I admire the people who go way in, but I wish they would not forget how it was before they got in. Then they would be able to help the people who have not yet even found the door. Or the people who want to run away again from God. You can go in too deeply and stay in too long and forget the people outside the door. As for me, I shall take my old accustomed place, near enough to God to hear him and know he's there, but not so far from men as to not hear them. And remember, they are there too. Where? Outside the door. Thousands of them, millions of them. But more important for me, one of them, two of them, 10 of them, whose hands I'm intended to put on the latch. So I shall stand by the door and wait for those who seek it. I'd rather be a doorkeeper, so I stand by the door.
Round of applause for Sally Haynes. So, moving right along and kind of staying in the theme, I've been inspired again, and I promise I won't be inspired between I should be inspired between everyone, but I won't take up your time. But Sally has broken the mold, and she mentioned God. And I too love God, as we're talking about all of the different things that we love. And I have a short one I want to share with you. And it doesn't have a title either. And I think that's what inspired me. So here we go. I found a love that's patient and kind. It loves me wholly, soul, body, and mind. It lets me be all of me completely. It never sways in the ways that it treats me. Consistently, it is the key that frees me. This love never fails. It's like it needed me. Thank you. And now I am very, very excited to hear what our next artist has to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joyce Brown. Joyce, right? Joyce. Yes, that's you.
Oh, it's very nice. Good evening. Of course, I missed the designated theme of love, but I brought my love. How about that? That's Les Brown there. And I love the South. The poem is about the South. I love the South, and if you're Southern, you know how you love the South, and then you sometimes don't love the South, and it's all rolled into one. This is called A Slow Unpacking, and I have a quote from William Faulkner. Can you guys hear me all right? Okay. Here's Faulkner's quote. You don't love because you love despite, not for its virtues, but despite its faults. And that's my Southern quote. I've been dragging an old bag of Southernness through the years, all those grandfathers, some with a spiteful gray uniform, mothers with their recipes for reunion days, the easy naivete of small town, Neil's Grocery and Pool's Dime, where I learned to make chains, was taught to see the many shades of despair. And these old churches, town cornerstones, the stiff Lutheran one packed with lists of don'ts, but spilling forth sweet harmony in rolling tunes. Teetotaler weddings with Kool-Aid punch and buttermints underlaid by good moonshine stories of my German grandfathers. Their pride, their love of land, their greed, grandmothers bearing too many children for working on the farm, cooking, canning, tending the garden till they dropped. Mine is a too pale southernness, pale mayors, sheriffs, and county registrars, where tax officers charge $2 for a black man to vote if he didn't own land. And how could he possibly own land? And still I speak with drop G's and extra R's and watermelons cracking open on the front porch and county fairs and lightning bugs, country fried steak and my mother's chocolate pie, all in that burdensome bag of old joys, sorrows, and regrets. I think that's it. Thank you. Okay, I guess I'll have to proclaim for tonight that I must love Ralph's Mule, because I brought a poem called Ralph's Mule, and I guess it was one I passed every day when I went to school. Poor old fella, his owner just gave him a little tiny bit of space, and I never brought him a carrot, so I feel guilty about it. Apology to Ralph's Mule. And I have a couple of quotes. And before them went the mules, and ever upward, downward, sideward, and askant they fared. That's from the Iliad. And then there's a country song, maybe some of you know. It says, "Don't worry about the mule, just load the wagon." You ever heard that? If you're lucky, you'll never have to hear it again, at least not my version. Anyway, here's the poem. You stood there in mud and dung, your little straight side lot hardly big enough for a good stretch, a kick. I'd stop sometimes, Ralph's Mule. Think about the muck on your hooves, how it must feel. You're standing in the mud, mired in that nasty mess. I never knew your name. Your owner was a silhouette at church. He sometimes walked behind you in his field, making mule noises, gee and haw. Some throaty cluck. You obeyed, walked the straight line, turned, walked back. I never spoke to you then. Now I like to dream your mule brain felt the glories of your kind, and not mired down in one dull field, hitched to one dull man. No mule friends, alone, bored in your tiny lot. I'd like to think you found some collective memory, Ralph's Mule, such as humans seek. You showed up in movies. John Wayne had Jeanette. Excuse me. The Waltons, they're blue. Sometimes you conversed. 20 of you brought borax from the deep western desert to my house. Our old sheets were dazzle white. We didn't know you'd worked the ancient battlefields of Grecian wars, bled, died, were devoured as you are today. Your image is embedded in Assyrian murals, in ancient stories of human woe. You died among the bombs of our grim battles, slaughtered by both sides. You're in old photographs of Carolina farmers. They probably had paragraphs on the back. Their fields and wagons, their teams, names scrawled on the back. You're in cities where lonely lots once stood, where townsmen played out lost lives. You stood your ground, the burden of your kind, ignored by the likes of us. That's old Ralph's Mule. Okay, I'll give you one. Well, do you love your new refrigerators? 'Cause that's the only way I can connect that, because this is about the new refrigerator. A Calvinator, we called it years ago, the only brand. Electricity that chilled, froze water. It said a squat device on the back porch. Its special compartment held tiny metal trays. We pulled the lever, little ice cubes popped up for Sunday tea. What luxury after the creek spring my mother had used, climbing down the bank, back up with cream and cottage cheese in hand. In town, the ice box was nearby, sitting on the back porch, its little compartments cooled by the one block the iceman came weekly with his gigantic tongs and square-foot chunks. The ice came from the flour mill, was stacked in a bin on the front porch, its planks always wet and dark. You could feel a cold aura in those sticky summers if you stood close, a blessed chill. Founding fathers built their ice houses to meet greater needs. Some got their ice from frozen lakes. Thoreau watched Walden with lament, thought of men in Charleston drinking, robbing his Walden Pond's skin. Our new refrigerator is equipped with dual ice makers, one for quiet evenings, one for parties that we've ceased to care for in our docile years. We are befuddled with extra gadgets, codes to learn, settings to suit our taste in cool. There are those who enjoy sleeping in ice beds, ice hotels, drinking cocktails from ice cups, chill like Superman in his cave of isolation, a place to cool, to let down his superpowers. Wonder how his place is holding up these days. I'm going to tell you in a minute if I can get this page to turn. Actually, he's not. These restless, churning days of floods and fires and new bugs moving north, our ice makers spit out cubes beyond our need. Creatures die out while we chill, ice makers ever growling, our blue earth sweltering in the haze. Okay. Have I tortured you with three? I think you're right. Thank you.
Joyce Brown, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I always want to call you Dr. Joyce Brown. It just kind of feels right. But thank you for that trip down memory lane. I love a good blast from the past. And then she brought us right back to the future with the gadgets and technology. Before we go into our next talent, I do want to bring you guys into the future of the Iredell Arts Council. I looked through that book. They've got over 90 events planned. You guys, round of applause for whoever's doing that hard work, booking all these talents, booking all of these dates. Become a member, stay in the loop, get to know the talent in town, get to know the artistry that's blooming, get to know the Iredell Arts Council. Thank you again for this night. And now, one of my favorite artists here, last time we were here, she actually made me cry. I think I told her that, but her poetry, her work, her art, her essence, her being. Ladies and gentlemen, Shawnee Watson.
Hello. Can y'all hear me okay? All right. So, of course, I'm going to do some love poems. That's what I do. But first, I wanted to share something a little different that I wrote with it being Black History Month. And disclaimer, of course, we all know Black history doesn't start or end at slavery, civil rights, any of it. It's all just a culmination of events, of course. But this particular poem, a little dark and heavy, and it goes like this. It's untitled, of course. Mama, they tied my limbs and strung me up like the flag. No stars to glisten in my eyes, orbitals removed from sky, cut out my tongue and stole my words, but my flesh be righteous in pieces. Pleading and bleeding, unearthed and unbound to mortality, these bones trickle ancestral songs of worship. Got deities in my marrow, ready to bite back when the bullet snaps its teeth. Smile at death when he captures my mug. Shot the reaper to prove no fear in my heart, but mama, what prize be my eyes to those men? What they want with my portals? No visionary soul to make them immortal, so they twist tie my life into a knot. No death undone by the burning. With the flames and wind bending and turning, I release the stones in my hands. Fistful of forgiveness leaves me open to hoping that my mother doesn't clean up the mess, won't cut me from limb and hem my muddied parts together again. I hope she doesn't spot the despair in my chest or lose sight of me amongst the rest. Postcards of the barbecue we pray to be uninvited to, but can't outrun the smell of smoldering skin, so we cry out together, Mama, I am no martyr. Don't let them break you when I'm gone. I beg of you, carry my name in your mouth like a storm, and when this country comes crumbling, you rain down through spirit and destroy the remains. Now let's get a little happier. So this first poem is a love poem. We'll just leave it at that. We'll let the experience speak for itself, right? Sadie sits under the night sky, silhouette of moonlight, eyes enveloped in warmth, and a radiant smile even the stars are jealous of. When her lips part ways, supernovas collapse into black holes, galaxies boom with creation. New worlds collide in reverence, the growth of a celestial garden, and God's hand to heal the earth wherever she roams. Sadie takes my hand, and the butterflies in my chest birth a rainforest of color. Kaleidoscope dreams in her palms reveal a world of possibility, and hope returns to my heart. To believe in a world stitched with honor and home sees me as luminescent when the darkness looms, tells me I'm worthy of life. Enough as I exist with yearning bones, always seeking safety from the ghost in my mouth. But she still whispers truth until I learn to untangle the noise, and her silence leaves the airwaves aching for presence of song. I write into the void to immortalize her lungs, drawing breath into woman of wind, and for her, I will learn to fly again, with marred wings and a spine remembering how to straighten, until the memory comes back, and we are two skeletons, soaring through soil to release our souls back into ourselves. Sadie is a walking poem, the space between these words, and hallowed be her name, when grief reminds me of all that is lost. The next poem I have for you guys, it's called Daughters of the Dust. And it is a poem that really speaks to coming into oneself, finding that love for yourself, and just finding a reason to be. I think sometimes we need that more than anything, just a reason to exist, or to live more than existing, excuse me. A melody of 1,000 daughters births itself in my chest. A heartbeat to the tune of mothers' answered prayers. The girls run wild and free, but I am confined to the drum solo echoing against my ribcage. And the girls, they swarm my throat, remove remnants of a voice covered in courage, begging to be forced out of darkness. And what sound will honesty make when it unravels my tongue into scripture? Will my taste buds remember the hint of lovers who morphed my mouth into a shallow grave where secrets go to bury themselves? And there are days I find myself waiting on you to perish, to live a life uncovered so that I may bear my truth unbridled, without the burden of protection from anxious deities, and wear the names I have chosen for myself and answer to the calling in my rattling bones. And the girls are still there, double dutching with my words. They tangle my memory like Christmas lights, forgotten 11 months out of the year. And I am here, mourning my baby into an early burial, instead of standing up to her worship of a God full of judgment, and seeking worship with a blood-stained omnipresence. And the girls just want a home to call their own that feels like a hug from ancestral grandmothers who escaped ubiquity and wings. And I am here, with anger lining my esophagus like cobblestones. I release the bitterness in bated breath and call upon freedom in knowing oneself beyond external acceptance. And the girls, they grow into fireflies, light up my world full of forbidden forget-me-nots, and I am born again, a song of daughters who will soar into the sun and burn before living a life in waiting. And the last poem I have for you is untitled. I am getting better with that, giving things a name. Just a little bit. We're halfway there. But this poem is about more acceptance of yourself and how love can inspire that. Any type of love can inspire that. Friendship, romantic love, just human connection that inspires us to be our best selves, really. But here we go. Maybe I should think of a title on the spot, actually. I don't know. It goes like this. Taught me to stop treating my body as an apology, to baptize my bones in holy, how to magician my tongue into forgiveness of self. And you stand me in front of the mirror, and I strip myself bare. Vines the length of arms unravel themselves from my hair. A body of soil awaits the rain. What a magnificent cleansing is the daily ritual turned burden again. When I can't quite tame these insufferable thoughts, endless reminders of eternal screams and all that's lost. What wild beasts consume the night as I swallow moonlight crystals and the melancholy takes flight. Illuminate the path into an internal firestorm in my belly, as the luminescent backdrop does not scare the monsters who hide in plain sight. No need for space under beds or shadows in closets with their teeth dripping ichor. Finding home in the darkness, I continue to breathe and remember the gift of life. How my lungs expand into joyous balloons of youth, and what grows here is not a metaphor for suffering. And my blood is still alive, and I am not a ghost walking divinity settling into her grace. Mercy be the song that echoes through the trauma, and we praise the parts of my body I have yet to fall in love with. Praise the heart for all the blame it takes. Mercy be the silence between breaths. Exhale and make room for the new. The flowers that grow from my mouth are covered in earth's promises, and healing is only a tomorrow away. But today, we turn the body into deity. How sacred is the flesh that allows us to lean into a transformative love. And as I step into the water unbound and hallowed, I wash away the stain of indignant sorrow. For a moment, I am free of regret and full of a love that does not make amends for dismantling my lonely.
See, everybody's so multi-talented. I didn't get to introduce the fact that Sam played music earlier because he wasn't playing for himself, but there you go, Sam Fox, ladies and gentlemen. And one more round of applause for Shani Watson. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing that essence of yourself with us. Thank you so very much. Hey! Okay, so, of course, I've been inspired. You were talking about flowers and the beauty of loving oneself, and I go by Sunshine, and sometimes I feel like a sunflower that just doesn't get enough love. So this piece is called Sunflower Sorrow. I can't blame you for how you burn me, for how you shine your light on things that don't concern me. And when it does concern me, you disown me, turn the other cheek as if caring for me is too meek of a thing for you to do. Yet I beg myself to love you, to worship the ground you warm, to appreciate the bees as they swarm, sucking the life out of me as I try to enjoy you before the dark night surrounds me. Maybe my life is meant to be scorned. Leaves torn, spit on, pissed on, left for dead. Don't know what color I'm supposed to be, but I see red. I'm rooted in despair, stuck in the mud. I'd say I don't care, but I really need a hug. Or to intentionally be plucked by someone who'll cherish my presence, because me blossoming is evidence of Earth's essence. An exhibit of its ability to bear fruit and produce life, not just abuse, misuse, and cause pain and strife. Mother Earth is in need of a sweet touch, so we, her flowers, can bloom in the way that she sees us, as the art of her existence instead of thorned misfits. Okay, stop. Our next artist, who just walked in the door, I'm not even sure when, but usually does give us, okay. It happens, it happens. We'll talk about that. But our next artist, I've actually never had the pleasure of hearing before. He is new to the Iron Arts Council Old Jailhouse Spoken Word Spotlight. So ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome and a hearty round of applause for Mr. Derek Lee.
I can't see it coming down my eyes, so I gotta make these poems cry. I can't see it coming down my eyes, so I gotta make these poems cry. Like Joyce, I missed a love memo. I came prepared to talk about something I hate. I hate black eyed peas. But I got one of those, if you don't like what I cook, then don't eat type of mamas. One day I tried to get up from the table, but I got one of those, boy, if you don't sit yo type of mamas. Better be lucky I'm saved type of mamas. Or you think you grown type of mamas. I suggest you fix your tone type of mamas. I brought you in this world, I can take you out type of mamas. That's why I tried to get smart. You gonna take me out where? McDonald's? But I got one of those, you got McDonald's money type of mamas, stay in the child's place type of mamas, and I suggest you fix your face type of mamas, quit crying before I give you something to cry about type of mamas. But let's not get it twisted. I got a hugging type of mama, a loving type of mama, an independent type of mama, a prayer changes all of all, the Holy Ghost is moving type of mama, strength of a bull type of mama, love so tough, when you get in a whooping, you scream so loud no one can hear your voice type of mama. Before you get a whooping, she give you a choice type of mama. You can get it the easy way or the hard way, and one day I chose the latter, one day I chose to flee, only to glance back and see what looked like 3 generations of black women chasing after me. And y'all, I don't know what I thought, but before she could swing, I reached up and grabbed the belt. She hollering, Jesus, save me from going to jail over this boy. I'm hollering, Jesus, I was just trying to save myself. She said, boy, you gonna make me lose my religion. You should have seen the confusion on my face. She spoke about religion as if it was tangible and could be misplaced. She spoke about religion as if the pages in the book of life could be erased. And I thought to myself, surely this is a mistake. But at a very young age, I learned the hard way that it's best not to correct mama on what she says. And mama believes it when she says that God will answer all of our prayers, even in the moments where it seemed like the world is trying to tear her apart. And it's in those moments I realized losing my mama would be like losing my heart. If I knew it would have caused less stress when you gave me a choice, I would have never chose the hard. But even in the midst of the hard, I got one of those, as for me and my house, we would serve the Lord type of mamas. No weapon formed against us shall prosper type of mamas. When the wig come off, you know it's real type of mamas. She hoot now, hollering till she sweat type of mamas. She hurting, but she'll pray for her kids before she prays for herself type of mamas. One night, I watched my mama drop down to her knees to the heavens. She sent the plea, God cover my son, be his screen, shelter his eyes from all of the pain I've had to see. That same night, I dropped down to my knees to the heavens. I sent the plea, God, take all of my mama's pain and place it inside of me. Which left me with a question. If we're both praying for each other's pain, then whose prayer does God answer? I can't see it coming down my eyes. So I gotta make these poems cry. I can't see it coming down my eyes. So I gotta make these poems cry. Lately, my mind running overtime, my thoughts running actively. At the reality, me and mama not talking, feel like she mad at me. Before, if I was distant from people, cause I had to be. It wasn't nothing, cut them off, I did it happily. But it's different when you talking about the one that brought you in this earth. I ain't seen it in a minute. That's the truth, and it hurts. And what's worse, they say where your heart is at, it's where you call home. But lately, I don't know where I belong. Lately, telling people that I love to leave me alone, stupidly thinking I can make it on my own. That's something I adopted. I got that from my father. I used to think he hated us because he left us with mama boyfriend who got high, ate us out of house and home, then he gone on this hiatus. Way he played this made me lose my patience. Frustrating, no different than the media faking, listening lies on TV screen just on the appeal to me. I'm told I'm missing out. I'm like, what that mean to me? Growing up, we ain't never had cable. Every dollar made went to putting food on the table. It's either that or you get off the muscle. And being the smallest, they had me running point. We hit the grocery store. I watched the dough. They spread the flow. The play was just a give and go. If you can swing it and bounce back just to get some more. And we was never greedy. You either did what you needed or you wasn't eating. That's the reason I can't say that I agree with my people robbing their hoods or my people selling drugs, but I'll never quit to judge the things we resort to when the times are tough. For my sisters and brothers who feel like you had enough and you want to let those tears fall from your eye, I can't lie. Sometimes so do I, but I can't, so I got to make these poems cry. I can't see it coming down my eye, so I got to make these poems cry. I can't see it coming down my eye, so I got to make these poems cry. Y'all, my brother was a stone cold bully. I was a rag doll for his wrestling moves. He would fold my limbs like laundry. His forearm was my next first introduction to a clothesline. I lost count of the untreated concussions I received from the times he tried to power drive me through the floor. I'm still traumatized from the years that we shared the same bed, the nights he would pass gas, then pull the covers over my head. His stench creating a noose around my lungs as I clawed at the covers, gasping for air. The last time I snitched on my brother, he gave me a wedgie from hell by pulling my drawers to the heavens, hooked me on the corner of the door for hours, left me hanging in there. My brother was a villain, but he was also my best friend. Showed me the ropes. In this tug of war of finding who I am, he pulled me under his wing, never hesitated to push me out of harm's way. Before I ever wanted to be the Black Panther, I wanted to be my brother. Marvel at how he bore his black skin like a suit of armor, the way he let the flap of his do-rag hang down like a cape. And every day on the basketball court, I witnessed with my own two eyes what it's like to watch a black boy fly my brother. It's my hero. I've watched him be a light for others, although along this road he had his own dark side to face. Even in his lowest lane, I never saw him lose faith. That's why I worry for my brother, because if there's anything he taught me about the comics, it's that every Superman has his doomsday. But my brother's concept of strong is so broken. He would never fix his lips to ask for help. When I would walk into his room and ask him how he's doing, he would say, "I'm hanging in there." And I knew it meant he was hanging on by a thread. His mouth remained stitched, eyes embroidered with pain. He'd been hanging in there so long. I watched my brother lose his drive, but I refused to let him release his will to live. Always trying to be the man of steel eventually takes a toll, especially when trying to navigate alone. So I remind him that's what the super friends were for, my brother. On your darkest nights, I will be your Batman. Yes, we joke about his lack of power, but when it's time to remove the mask and just be human, that's something Bruce can do that Clark can't. My brother, I'm here to hold you down. As kids, you were stronger, but we're older now, so yeah, heavy is the head, but little brother's here to help you hold your crown, because I'd much rather make room for my brother's burdens than to ever walk into a room and see him hanging in there. And unfortunately, even in 2025, there's still this stigma around men telling other men you love them. In reality, to tell another man you love him simply means to elevate the tongue, the tip, gently stroking the mouth's root, prior to words parting lips, a preceding gulp, anticipatory, both anxious and sensational. Upon release, immediately seeking haven in the very disowned intimacy the world shelters you from. To communicate your love to another man retires the heart's guard, allowing the chambers to be a garden of lilacs that be welcoming to wings flutter, landing strip for tiresome legs, and safe space for fragile antennae. To offer your love to another man, rest aside society's fallacies and unfavored critique. Rather, rest assured on one's true desires and unadulterated identity. To confess your love for another man. Indulges Giddy's caress and trance and the goosebumps that prickle your forearm. It rejects the inclination to subdue the very thing that heals and holds warmth. Sips from the Creator's chalice, dethrones fear's preoccupancy, and discovers treasure, not hidden, just often overlooked. To extend your heart, man to man, is to extend your heart, life to life, nothing less, but everything more. So to all my brothers, I love you.
For a first-timer here, Derek, you have shut this thing down. Listen, y'all have heard me before. I've given you guys poems about my children. And quiet as kept, they're here tonight. Right here in the front. That's Tyson, Mason, and Ian. And Derek, I must say, I truly, truly appreciate your poetry from a personal, intimate place. As a mother raising sons, I just appreciate everything that you've done, and I thank you so much for sharing that. Please do come back. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, Derek, please. All right. Y'all still having fun? Yes. So we're going to take it. I would say I was going to turn it up a notch, but I've heard that this artist is not doing music tonight. He usually gives us a beautiful array of like piano and drums mixed with the sound of his voice, and it's usually really, really beautiful, and I'm excited to see his new thing. So without further ado, here we go, D-Rob.
All right. Hello, everybody. All right. My name is D-Rob. Yes. I've been coming here for a couple of years now. Back whenever John was doing his thing or whatnot, had me come out whenever I was in high school still. You know, I was just graduating. It was one of those talent shows or whatnot. So I came out to that and did like a little drum thing, and then from there, he found out I did artistry, and it kind of went from there. So tonight, I might use Sam's guitar one time. I don't know, but I'm mostly gonna just do spoken word. It's been a while since I just kind of like spoke, you know. So, and one more time, shout out to Derek, because I'm not gonna lie, your poetry, I felt you for real, you know. I heard you and I felt you. I could relate to some stuff too, so I felt that. And Sunshine, of course, and where'd she go? There she goes. I heard her whenever I first got here. I was late, so I caught the last end of it with you and Sam, but I loved it. It was awesome. This first poem that I'm gonna do is just called Wait Patiently, okay? So, finally got that job I've been waiting on. It's going all right. Keeping up with my bills and whatnot. That's always all right. Kind of frustrated with my boss, but that's all right. Coworkers are a little shady, not gonna lie, but that's all right. I had to deal with a trucker on the other day, and he had an attitude over politics, but that's all right. He had a nasty old attitude, and I like to stay away from those types of conversations when they get to talking about Trump versus whoever. I just disappear. Why? Because that's all right. You know, waiting for one reason to really care about it. I haven't gotten one yet, but you know what? That's all right. Hey, you caught on pretty quick. Let's see here. I got off work on a Tuesday, almost got into a wreck on a Wednesday, about got into another fight on Thursday morning, and by Friday evening I had the sniffles, but that's all right. You know, I was chilling yesterday and sitting in my favorite chair. It kind of gave out on me, and I fell and caught a splinter in the back of my leg, but that's all right. To make it simple to you, there's a lot of things that's gonna happen in life that I don't have control over. Whether if it's a cool situation and we can let it breeze, or if it's a situation that's gonna leave a sting, it's gonna be all right. What other choice do I have but to wait patiently? I mean, time is gonna move, and it's gonna move as fast as it's been moving. The past is yesterday, technically 2 minutes ago. If you blink, that's technically yesterday. But if you don't understand yet, that's all right. I'm still waiting on my paycheck from my last job that I did. You know, I went and moved some furniture for my uncle, and he said he was gonna get me right. It took a little bit longer than expected, but that's all right. I haven't did my taxes yet. By now, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, but I'm gonna do it, and if I don't get nothing back, that's all right. I'm just gonna keep on moving. Doing some music maybe. Could be on keys. Could be on drums. Never know these days. It just depends on what they need me on. Preferably, I prefer it to be drums every time, but when you need a job, beggars can't be choosers, so that's all right. I love y'all. Y'all just go with it, don't it? I got here pretty late, as we all know. I was texting Sydney, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, that whole 7:30 thing, I just don't know if it's gonna work out. I was doing some stuff, trying to get some money in my pocket, and got put a little bit behind schedule. But by the time I got here, I told her, I said I was 2 minutes away. She said, I think you're good, so it's all right. Hey, that was the first poem, you know, waiting patiently, you know, it was a little comedy Joan, you know what I'm saying, slash real life, so, you know, glad you like it. Now, this next poem I'm gonna do, because I'm only gonna do 3. Okay, I'm only gonna do 3. So that was the first one. Here's the second one. Second poem I'm gonna do is called I Didn't Mean To. And this was inspired by a situation that I got myself into not too long ago. Accidentally hit somebody. I was stretching, I tell you the truth, right? So I'm doing my thing, right? You know, getting my stretches and whatnot. Next thing you know, somebody walked past me, and when I said, they said, ah, you know what I'm saying? It was a total accident. I didn't mean to. That's where it came from. So here we go. My mom told me to wash the dishes. Last night we had dinner. She had the good china out. I was doing those dishes using my favorite soap, good old Dawn. Gets it real good and sudsy and moisturization on your fingers when you're getting the suds in the crevices of the plates and crumbs and whatnot. I was scrubbing one of them pretty hard. Scrubbed it so hard, dropped it. What happened? It cracked. Mama came out the room. What you do, boy? I didn't mean to. I didn't ask you that. I said, what'd you do? I was washing dishes. That's what you asked me to do. Why you asking questions? I heard a loud noise. You dropped something? Yeah, I did. My jaw when you opened the door. I ain't know you were gonna come out off of that. For real, I thought you was asleep. But, you know, it didn't work out that way. So, I'm sorry. I don't know what else you want me to say. Boy, you know how much these plates cost me? I didn't mean to. Like, it's just that simple. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. She wanted me to fix her something to eat the next day. Went in the kitchen. Mama, what you want? You know what I like? All right. I'm gonna go in here and fix you some cream of wheat. Gonna make sure I put some honey on your toast. Butter with some cinnamon swirls the way you like it. Accidentally burnt the toast. I got the coffee flavor right. Put her favorite creamer in there, not too much sugar. You know, she can't handle all that. A little bit of diabetics going on. Not trying to do her like that. Took it in there to her. Gave it to her. Happy. Here you go, mama. Made you your breakfast. Your favorite. Son, what's this? What do you mean, what's that right there? That's your breakfast. Your cream of wheat and your honey flavored toast right there. What are you talking about? She grabs it. She grabs her spoon. I didn't realize we were in music class this day. She grabs it, and all of a sudden I hear this sound. You know, I don't look because I don't want to see what she's doing. I hear this sound. Say, Mom, you got a washboard over there? She does it again. She doesn't say nothing. Mom, where'd you get the washboard from? You don't see what I'm over here scraping? No. Look. The toast, hey, say, you like it like that. Hey, you remember what you told me about that chicken that one year? You said it was blackened. You did what you said. You know what you said. I didn't mean to. You know, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I put it in the toaster. You set it on 30 seconds or a minute. I didn't mean to. Had to move on to the next subject. When I showed up here tonight, I told myself that I was going to behave myself. Why? I don't know. Well, it's been a minute since I've been up here. There's been a lot of thoughts going through my brain. Not enough people to share it with. I decided to come up here and share some of my inner thoughts with you lovely folks out here tonight. Put a couple of smiles on your faces. But guess what? If it doesn't work, I didn't mean to. All right, this last one is on a more serious tip. I promise. I know. I showed up late and I showed up with jokes, typical class clown behavior. I'm so sorry. Ask my teachers about me. I was that guy. No, I'm sorry. Okay. So, this last poem is just called Thank Goodness. And, you know, it's kind of more, you know, slightly singing, but, you know, talking to. More basically just like kind of being thankful that you get another chance in a way. You know, sometimes you mess up and you think that's the end of the line, but when you least expect it, you get that second chance and you actually make something out of it. So it's just one of those thank goodness kind of moments. So I almost lost it all. The last time I thought I had it all. Almost took it to the top, but the bottom called me to a stop. And now that I see all the rocks that used to be stones when I was above the surface no longer hit me, no, but aren't even. Well, last time I got hit with a rock, I cried about it. First time I got hit with a rock, I ain't know what to do about it. If I get hit with a rock this time, how should I react to it? It's a lot of different ways that I could do things about it, but sometimes I feel like God is telling me I'm supposed to take certain stuff. If I was in the military, I would deal with somebody yelling in my face, probably being aggressive, and I wouldn't be able to do nothing back about it. So what's the difference when a truck driver's in my face acting out of pocket? Should I hurt him, knowing I could, or should I walk away, knowing that both of us will live to see another day? I'm not entirely sure what turn the other cheek meant, but for a while I took it quite literal. I only got two. I refuse to let a grown man touch the other two. Well, my mama told me I gotta calm down. She said, yeah, you're a good kid, honestly. You got a good heart. You're a sweetheart if you want to be honest about it. But, ooh, boy, that temper. Boy, once you get there, I don't know if we can get you back. I don't know. Well, I got to get myself back then. There's no way I should allow anybody to have that much control over me, whether they switching my emotions or putting a leash on them. That's my decision and my choice to make. If I decide to do something I know I got no business doing, then I've accepted my fate. But if I get put in a situation where I have no other choice, then so be it. There's a lot of people out here that do stuff for fun. What do I do for fun? Things like this. Things like that. Things like this for real. Things like that for real. I like to spar. Never really try to be a star. That's just what happens when you get put in front of everybody all the time. Sometimes they say you're going to stay where you at. Sometimes they'll tell you, hey, keep doing what you're doing. You're going far. But yet again, I'm just glad that I'm where I'm at, not where I could be. There's a lot of places I want to be, but where I chose to be, that's where I'm at. Appreciate y'all.
D. Rob Robinson, full of surprises, and I think he freestyles most of that, guys. Awesome job, awesome job, awesome job. So we got a few more minutes, and I want to give you. I don't really write about love. I really, really don't. I got some great stuff in here about like divorce and heartache and pain, dark, no parents, you know, that type of thing. But I did get commissioned one time to write a love poem for a person who was in love. So I called this one Falling in Love, 15 Ways in 15 Days. Day 1, the story begun. Felt like you were the one. Found out you were hung. Jackpot, hit the spot, cat got my tongue. Day 2, don't even think I really like you. Can't think when I'm around you. I try to hide it, but don't know how to. I'm really just glad I found you. Day 3, the way you slay me, I pray daily you never try to play me or make me have to repay thee with the wrath of you having to kiss my ass. Day 4, kiss my ass some more. Make me your personal horse. Let me out all over the floor. Don't forget to lock the doors. Day 5, you make me feel alive like bees as they cling to their hive because that's where the queen is. You make me feel fiendish, squeamish for your love. Day 6, it's sick. This feeling is so thick, it's beyond what can be said with our lips or pumped through your hips. It's the highs, the lows, the peaks, and the dips. Day 7, your love is like heaven on earth, a soul rebirth, a cleansing, refreshing. Loving you is brand new, something I thought I'd never do. 8, you let me be great. Never hating, always congratulating and motivating me to be better. Never let up. 9, shine, baby, shine. Wisdom, talent, skill, you blow my mind, and I'm proud to call you mine. 10, I hope this never ends. Every day is a day new future begins. The ones with the biggest dreams win. I'm blessed to be able to build with a friend. 11, time to double up. You know what it is, so let's get our hustle up, muscle up on our haters, and surprise our naysayers. 12, give them hell, but always show respect for the place that you dwell. 13, so fresh, so clean, swag always tight when you step on the scene. 14, attitude mean, but to me, peaceful and serene. 15, a versatile king, a gangster, a god, and everything in between. No matter which way you rockin', I proudly ride as your queen, my angel of love and my personal light being. Thank you. And that, my friends, is our spoken word spotlight for tonight. I truly, truly hope that you all have enjoyed yourselves as much as I have enjoyed all of us in this room. The vibe is awesome. Thank you again, Sydney Koppelmeyer, for calling everybody out and getting us out here. Thank you so much to Iredell Arts Council for holding this space where we can just be free and be ourselves. Thank you to all of the talent, all of the artists. Thank you for your essence. Thank you for sharing with all of us. And don't forget to pick up one of those books. We'll be back here in April. We'll be back here in November. And there's another one. There's 3. Look, get the book. Remember, they've got 90 events. Is that the whole list of all 90 events in that book?
And we have pop-up events too.
Join, become a member, become a sponsor, be an investor, be a friend, get in the loop, stay in touch, stay in the know, come back to the area, take in the art, take in the sounds, take in the sights. I love the South. Thank you all for having me. By the way, I'm from Jersey, and it's been a blast. Good night.